The bowl is already on the table. It has been there since 4 o'clock. You put it there yourself, the small ceramic one with the blue rim, the one your daughter brought back from somewhere you can never remember the name of. You set it there because it makes the table look less empty. A bowl, placed with intention. That is what your evenings have become. The kitchen smells like something warm. You cooked enough for 2, the way your hands just know. The extra portion sits in the pot. It will go into a container tonight. You will eat it alone tomorrow and call it sensible. There is a Thursday thing. Small, almost embarrassing, but it is yours, and it matters more than anyone would understand. We will get there. The day it changed was not dramatic. That is the thing no one tells you about endings. Most of them are polite. It was a Sunday. Your son loaded the last box into the back of his car, turned around, and smiled the way people smile when they are trying to give you something they cannot give you. His wife was already in the passenger seat, patient and kind and waiting. "You're going to love having the space," he said. He meant it. That is the part that stayed with you. He genuinely meant it, and he was genuinely wrong, and you said nothing because you loved him too much to correct him in the driveway. You watched the car until you couldn't see it. Then you went inside and made tea for one. And somewhere between filling the kettle and setting it down, you made a quiet decision. So quiet you barely heard it yourself, to stop waiting by the window. Here is what is true and what cannot be untrue at the same time. You love them unconditionally. You are proud of everything they became. You would make every sacrifice again without hesitation. And you eat alone every night in a house full of photographs of people who are alive and well and simply elsewhere. Both things are true, the love and the absence, the pride and the silence. The gratitude for what your life built, and the grief of sitting inside it without another person to hand a cup of tea to. Love does not stop needing somewhere to go just because the people you love have stopped needing you. That is not a complaint. It is just the truth. And the truth, held inside long enough, starts to feel like weather. You were the one who remembered every allergy, every teacher's name, every preference so specific no one else would have noticed it existed. You were the one who woke before the house did, who heard a sound in the night and was already standing before you were fully awake, who ironed things that did not need ironing because doing it meant you were present, you were here. You held the family together through years when that required everything you had. You did not ask for recognition because it did not occur to you that recognition was something to want. You were just the floor. Floors don't get thanked, they just hold. And now the house is quiet, in a way that has texture to it. You move through rooms, and nothing moves with you. You open a cupboard, and everything is exactly where you left it, and there is a version of you that knows what that means, and that version says nothing. Sometimes, in the middle of the afternoon, you catch yourself wondering if you exaggerated your own importance, if perhaps they never needed you the way you thought they did. You never say that out loud. On Wednesdays, you go to the supermarket, even if you don't need anything. You have a list, 4 items, sometimes 5, things you could order online in 3 minutes. But you take the bus anyway, the 9:15, and you bring your bag for life, the green one with the broken handle you keep meaning to replace. At the fruit aisle, there is a woman named Glenda who works Wednesdays and Fridays. You don't know her last name. She doesn't know yours. But she says, "Back again," when she sees you, and you say, "Creatures of habit." And she laughs, a short, real laugh. And for 45 seconds, someone is talking to you and responding to you, and there is a human exchange happening that requires your presence. You take longer than you need to choose oranges. You are not choosing oranges. You are staying in the warmth of being seen for a few more minutes. You go home on the 10:40 bus with your 4 things in the green bag, and you tell yourself it was a productive morning. It was. It was the most important thing you did that day. And now Thursday. Every Thursday at 7:30, your daughter calls. Not a long call, 15 minutes, sometimes 20. She is busy. You know she is busy. You would never want her to feel obligated. But she calls. And for those 15 minutes you talk about ordinary things. The weather where she is, a program you both watched, nothing much. What she doesn't know is that you set the table before she calls, both sides, 2 cups. You make tea you won't drink and you sit in the chair facing the window. And when the phone rings, you answer on the second ring, not the first, because you don't want her to know you were already sitting there waiting. Research from the United Kingdom's Campaign to End Loneliness found that nearly 4 million older people say the television is their main form of company. 4 million people watching a screen so the room doesn't feel empty. And here you are, setting a table for a phone call, because it means something. It is the thing that belongs to you entirely. 15 minutes on a Thursday, a cup of tea that gets cold. The smallness of it does not make it small. This kind of feeling has no clean word for it. It is not grief, because the people you love are alive. It is not resentment, because you do not resent them. It is something closer to being a photograph on someone else's wall, present, cherished, maybe, looked at sometimes, but no longer in the room where the living happens. You spent your whole life being needed. Now you are loved from a distance. There was a period when you called every Sunday. You prepared what you wanted to say, not a script, just a shape of conversation, something light. And sometimes the calls went to voicemail, and the message was returned 2 days later, warm and apologetic and real. And one Sunday, you cannot name exactly which one, you decided not to call. Not out of anger. The specific thought was this: I don't want to be the weight in their week. So you stopped initiating. You told yourself it was generous. That love, real love, knows when to be quiet. And the calls became less frequent, and you told yourself that was fine. That was the shape of adult relationships. I still believe that. I have to believe that. But I also know that the Sunday I stopped calling is the Sunday the house started feeling like this. That is the thing I have never said to anyone. There is a sound I think about, not a beautiful sound. The back door, the way it stuck every summer and you had to lift the handle and push the bottom with your foot at the same time, and everyone in the family knew the technique but visitors couldn't get in, and you complained about it for 11 years. There is a smell I think about, Sunday morning in that house, something between coffee and cold radiator metal, and whatever was already in the oven by 9. Not a remarkable smell. You never thought about it. And now it is gone, and you would walk a long way to stand inside it for 30 seconds. And there is a weight, a child asleep on your chest, not a baby, already too old for it, maybe 7 or 8. And you didn't move for a long time because you knew, somehow, you already knew, that there would come a day when no one would fall asleep on you again. All of that was ordinary. That is the word for it. If you are watching this, there is someone in your life who eats alone more nights than you know. They are not going to tell you. Not because they don't want to, but because they love you, and they have decided their fullness of feeling is not something they want to place on you. They want to be in the room where the living is happening, even occasionally, even for 15 minutes on a Thursday. Here is what I want to ask you to do. Next time you speak to them, ask about something that happened before you were born. Ask what they wanted to be when they were 22. Ask about a place they lived before you existed. Let them be a person who had a whole life before they became your parent. That question will mean more than you can calculate. It tells them you see them, not as a role, but as a person who has been somewhere and held a version of themselves you have never met. Time moves in one direction, and the people who would give everything to sit in a room with you are not going to be available indefinitely. To anyone who has ever set a table for a phone call, taken the long route home from the supermarket, made tea for 2, and drunk it alone, you carry the recipe your mother never wrote down. You carry the version of a neighborhood that no longer exists. You carry 40 years of knowing how people take their tea, what sounds mean, trouble in the night, the specific way light fell in a kitchen demolished 17 years ago. You are the last person alive who remembers it. Somewhere inside you is a love so large it has run out of places to go. It does not diminish. It just waits, warm and patient and entirely yours. The bowl is still on the table, the blue-rimmed one. The kitchen is clean now. You would do it all again, the early mornings with nothing left for yourself, the money you didn't spend, the plans you put down without ceremony because someone needed you, and being needed was, for a long time, enough. You would do it all again without a second thought. Thursday is 4 days away. The tea will be hot. The chair by the window is yours. For 15 minutes, someone who carries your eyes will tell you about their week, and you will not waste a single second of it. That call is yours. No one can take it. It is enough. It has to be enough. Tonight, it is enough. If this felt like someone you know, go to them. Not tomorrow, but soon. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe, because there is more here waiting for you.